Reading selection number 1 for your short silent reading. From The Substance of Shakespearean Tragedy. From Shakespearean Tragedy. A Shakespearean tragedy, as so far considered, may be called a story of exceptional calamity leading to the death of a man in high estate. But it is clearly much more than this, and we have now to regard it from another side. What we do feel strongly as a tragedy advances to its close is that the calamities and catastrophe follow inevitably from the deeds of men, and that the main source of these deeds is character. The dictum that, with Shakespeare, character is destiny, is no doubt an exaggeration, and one that may mislead for many of his tragic personages if they have not met with peculiar circumstances would have escaped a tragic end and might even have lived fairly untroubled lives. But it is the exaggeration of a vital truth. This truth, with some of its qualifications, will appear more clearly if we now go on to ask what elements are to be found in the story or action, occasionally or frequently, beside the characteristic deeds and the sufferings and circumstances of the persons. I will refer to 3 of these additional factors. A. Shakespeare, occasionally and for reasons which need not be discussed here, represents abnormal conditions of mind. Insanity, for example, somnambulism, hallucinations, and deeds issuing from these are certainly not what we call deeds in the fullest sense. Deeds expressive of character. No, but these abnormal conditions are never introduced as the origin of deeds of any dramatic moment. Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking has no influence whatever on the events that follow it. Macbeth did not murder Duncan because he saw a dagger in the air. He saw the dagger because he was about to murder Duncan. B. Shakespeare also introduces the supernatural into some of his tragedies. He introduces ghosts and witches who have supernatural knowledge. This supernatural element certainly cannot, in most cases, if in any, be explained away as an illusion in the mind of one of the characters. And further, it does contribute to the action, and is in more than one instance an indispensable part of it. So that to describe human character with circumstances as always the sole motive force in his action would be a serious error. But the supernatural is always placed in the closest relation with character. It gives a confirmation and a distinct form to inward movements already present and exerting an influence. To the sense of failure in Brutus, to the stifled workings of conscience in Richard, to the half-formed thought or the horrified memory of guilt in Macbeth, to suspicion in Hamlet. C. Shakespeare, lastly, in most of his tragedies, allows to chance or accident an appreciable influence at some point in the action. Chance or accident here will be found, I think, to mean any occurrence, not supernatural, of course, which enters the dramatic sequence, neither from the agency of a character nor from the obvious surrounding circumstances. It may be called an accident in this sense that Romeo never got the friar's message about the potion, and that Juliet did not awake from her long sleep a minute sooner. Now, this operation of accident is a fact, and a prominent fact of human life. To exclude it wholly from tragedy, therefore, would be, we may say, to fail in truth. And besides, it is not merely a fact. That men may start a course of events but can neither calculate nor control it is a tragic fact. The dramatist may use accident so as to make us feel this, and there are also other dramatic uses to which it may be put. Shakespearean accordingly admits it. And on the other hand, any large admission of chance into the tragic sequence would certainly weaken and might destroy the sense of the casual connection of character, deed, and catastrophe. And Shakespeare really uses it very sparingly. Thus, it appears that these three elements in the action are subordinate, while the dominant factor consists in deeds which issue from character. So that, by way of summary, we may now alter our first statement. A tragedy is a story of exceptional calamity leading to the death of a man in high estate. And we may say instead, what in its turn is one-sided, though less so, that the story is one of human actions producing exceptional calamity and ending in the death of such a man.